That's not a knife. This is a knife. I still can't do this with a straight face. What's up, YouTube? Graver here, and this is going to be the video about my Hunter's knife for my Destiny Hunters cosplay. This is going to be kind of a prop piece, showcase, modification, build video-ish, whatever, I don't know. But what I was originally planning on doing was I was going to actually follow Builderand's Punished Props build for a foam hunter knife, just so I can have a nice foam one that I can kind of like throw around at like friends and the kids and all that stuff. Also, if the kids play with it, they're not going to hurt themselves. But I still may wind up doing that later on down the road. But for now, I wanted to also get a nice, like, kind of showpiece as well. So what I did is I had ordered off of Etsy's, and the name of the shop that I got this from is Hop Shop 3D Props. Link will be down in the description below for the actual shop itself. And I got a 3D printed hunter knife. Now, this is actually a pretty well priced 3D print. The knife itself was like $20, and with shipping, it was like 32 and change. I had seen a couple of other hunter knives on there, not great quality, going for about the same price, and really, and for the quality that this actually came in, those other ones were probably going for about like 50 or $60. So this, I think, was honestly one of the best deals I could find, and I'm very glad I got it because the shop owner was really cool about everything. There were hiccups when he was printing these because obviously I wasn't the only one who ordered them. So he had sent out a notification saying, hey, sorry, there's a hiccup in printing the tips. I'm reprinting them, gonna get them out as soon as I can. Not a problem, I told him. Just, I'd rather, I'd rather have the quality over a rush job. And he said, okay, they're done. They're going out. You'll get them in about 2 to 3 weeks because it was actually coming from, I know it was the Eastern Bloc. I want to say, I think maybe Romania. I'm sorry, this came from Hungary. So from Hungary, it was going to take 2 to 3 weeks to ship to me, but this actually got to me in only a couple of days. And when I sent a message back to the owner and said, yeah, I just got the knife. The quality is awesome. I'm really happy with it. His reaction wasn't, oh, I'm glad you like it. It was, oh my God, it got there that quick. So that's just a little funny side story. Anyway, getting back to the point of this. So what my plan for this is, I've already actually started sanding one side of it to try and get it as smooth as possible because I do want to get rid of, obviously, as much of the print line as I can. I am going to get some 3M spot putty to kind of fill in the deeper crevices that you can kind of see here, there, and on here in case any others show up. Once I do that and get everything sanded again smooth, I'll be doing a primer filler on this because that seems to be one of the best ways to get rid of print lines on any kind of a 3D printed print that is going to be prop-like. So I'm basically, the only holdup on that is I need warmer weather right now because it's February and it's cold. So once all that's done, I get everything primed and set and it looks good. The color scheme I'm going to be doing this is going to be a close representative of what my final armor colors are going to be, because my armor colors are going to be purple, mostly kind of like a charcoal gunmetal, and then accents of red and silver, whereas my knife is going to be gunmetal. I'm going to take the leftover fabric from my cloak and do that as the cloth wrap around here, and then just as a little kind of pop, I want to do the hunter insignia here. I want to make that actually red, so this way it just kind of has that little bit of standout on it, because mostly the knives, when you see them, are silver with some charcoal on it, a little bit of weathering, and usually either black or brown strips there. And usually in here, it's either not colored. I've actually seen one that's yellow or it's kind of just black. So I just wanted to do something a little different and also something that kind of matches my armor setup too. So I'm going to get started on sanding down this side now, and I'll see you in my next portion of this video. Yeah. Bye. Okay, so little update on the hunter knife here. I've already sanded and actually did filler primer on this side of the knife. I found a few places that it really didn't actually fill in, so I'm going to go over that with Bondo, but I tried stupidly. I realized this after I did this, but I did this side with vinyl dye to see, hey, maybe that might work, or
Stupid! You're so stupid!
it did shed a light on the trouble spots, but yeah, it didn't fill in crap because duh, it's vinyl dye. I'm an idiot. But all this red stuff you see on here is actually Bondo. So I couldn't find 3M spot putty, but I did find this stuff. So hopefully it will work for the purposes I need it. I filled in a couple of spots that I felt needed it. Honestly, and this is nothing against the print quality, this is just me being well over assertive with it rather than being less is more type of guy. Because I mean, this line here was kind of deepish, but like this big thing here is like for a tiny little pinhole. Up here is just the tip was a little off. Here was like another tiny little pinhole, and here's the other seam. So that's just me being overly cautious with it. So it says this is supposed to dry in 20 to 25 minutes in 70-degree weather. It's winter in New Jersey. There's no way in hell it's 70. So I'm going to let this sit overnight, sand it. Hopefully, as long as this side fixes up well, I'm going to add it to the other side, sand everything down, and then do both sides again with the filler primer. And then from that point on, I should be able to just paint and add the wrap to it, and the knife will be done. Oh, and the little bit of red in the there, but that's to go with the wrap and all, but you know what I mean. See you in a few. Bye. Okay, so just wanted to show off the Bondo and everything that's been done on this. I have sanded this side, which you saw in the last little segment. I've now went and sanded off this side. I've then went with a wet paper towel, wiped everything off to make sure there is no dust on it, so when I do this side with the primer, I'm also going to do this side as well, so it'll be hanging, and I'm just going to hit it from all sides. So this is getting pretty close to done, and I'm very excited about it. But since I don't think I've actually mentioned it in the previous parts, this is what I have been using as the filler primer from Rust-Oleum. I actually got this at the my local AutoZone or whatever auto shop I have by me. I think it might be Advanced Auto Parts, but either one, they'll have this. You may also be able to find this at your local hardware store, not sure. But I couldn't find the 3M putty that I've noticed most people do, which is that green stuff. But I did get this stuff, and this is actually working pretty good because that's what all this is. So instead of green, I have red all over my 3D print. I hit it with a 200 and a 220 and a 400 grit sandpaper, which I really need to get more of. But over and all, I mean, this obviously this side doesn't, but this side feels smooth as anything. So I just want to do another once over with the filler primer just to make sure it covers up the spot putty, but also B in case it did miss anything that I may have missed on the first round. Plus this side I've been sanding just like the other side, so hopefully the one coat on this side will be enough. Now, to get onto the wrap, this is some leftover material Arlene was able to salvage for me from when she did my cloak. and it's the same stretchy pleather material that the cloak is. But the one thing I do like about this one is, while it does look kind of uniform, every once in a while it does kind of get like all, it's not, it gets jagged and thin and stuff like that, so it's not a uniform piece, especially like right there. You can see it just gets really jagged, and it may not show in the wrap, it may, but either way I think it would be something along the lines of like, because I can see here along the edge there's some things that the spot putty didn't get, but I'm not too worried about that because I can always chalk that up to like battle damage or something like that. Because the full plan, and I'll do that now a little more in detail, and then you'll see the final result probably, but the whole thing is going to be that gunmetal that I like to use. I used it on that giveaway I gave to Clanny, on the scout rifle, excuse me, on a couple other things. So this is going to be all gunmetal, which is also going to be on the armor as well. I'm going to do the edge in silver, and then maybe probably dry brush up into a little past it so it looks like, you know, the blade's been kind of like worn very well. The hunter engraving is going to be a red, and then the purple for the wrap, which is kind of ties everything all together. So I figured if I'm going to do my hunter's knife, instead of doing the usual dark gray with the silver and the black wrap or brown wrap, I wanted to make it kind of match my armor, because hey, my knife had a shader put on it. I don't know, but that's where it's going with that. So I'm going to go finish painting up this, and probably, I guess, do the wrap on it after that, once everything is all dried. I'm not going to show the painting. If you want to see how I do paint stuff, you can check out plenty of my other videos or my back to basics stuff. So see you guys in a moment. Okay, so we're at the last stage of the build, so to speak. The paint's all on, the gunmetal and silver came out very nicely, along with the red in the hunter logo. So now I'm just going to take that leftover material from the cloak to, you know, again, just keep all the colors consistent, even though I know the scout rifle I will be using is orange and blue, but that's besides the point. I ran out of shaders when I got that one, so that's my story and I'm sticking to it. But I'm just wrapping I just found a starting point for it, and just wrapping the material around the handle pretty taut. This way there is no slip on it, and also I am not using any adhesive on it as well, in case I do want to take the wrap off and redo it, or it tears or it gets dirty, or, you know, something along those lines. But just so this way it can easily come back off if need be. So I'm just tucking it in at the end there, and the hunter knife is going to be complete. So I will see you in a moment to give you the final overview on this. Okay, so the hunter knife is officially and finally done. I have to say, this really was a labor of love. This really kind of took me out of my comfort zone, because I had never done a prop like this, to where I had to do all the sanding and prep work and all that stuff for a 3D printed prop. And then finally getting that nice weekend to where I can put the paint on it and do all of the detail work, and some by accident and some that, you know, was intentional. Like the red for the hunter logo came out really well. I'm glad I did go with the testers to give it that little bit of enamel sheen to it. The silver on the blade was a little touch and go for a while when I was trying to work on it, but it still worked out very nicely, and especially with the blending into the gunmetal to make it just not look like it's like just worn to like the sake of a little bit of dry brushing, but worn to look like I've used this knife for quite some time, especially with like the heavy amount onto the tip, so that it looks like, you know, lots of pokey pokies. But even like the mistakes, like trying to wipe up the drip that I got a little heavy handed with the spray paint, and it kind of making this little splotch here to just look almost like a like scale forge, or forge scale, however it's said. I watch enough forging programs, I should know what it is, but regardless, it looks like it's got that hand scale, that hands like hammered look with the scale and the forging and all that stuff. Plus, hunters burning knives, I'm sure they scale the blades every now and then as well. And then, thankfully, I had enough of this to go to do the wrap on it, because now my handle will match my cloak. So it looks like, for as much as you do see a hunter's knife in the game, it looks like my knife now took my shader from my armor, which I think is really cool. But this really was, I have to say, not really one of my most ambitious builds, but definitely one of my toughest builds in quite some time, honestly. And it may not seem it, but trust me, it was. But on that note, thank you all very much for watching, and as always, if you enjoy our videos here on the channel, please throw me and Arlene a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of how I did on my first 3D printed prop finish. And, oh, don't forget to hit that little bell icon, otherwise you may not know when me and Arlene are doing our silliness here on the channel. But again, thank you all very much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Later.